Hello retail ambassadors, Ryan coming to you today from beautiful British Columbia. I'm here on the little Shuswap Lake with 2 weeks to go until my big Tour Divide mountain bike race. It's a self-supported event that goes from Banff, Alberta all the way down to Antelope Wells, New Mexico. So I'm in my taper phase, my recovery phase, and it's an ideal time to talk about Hammer's premium recovery drink called Recoverite. Leading up to today's video, we've chatted Heed, Perpetuum, Hammer Gel, and Endurolites. These products make up what I consider our fueling foundation, allowing us to train and compete competitively. Now, when we train, essentially what we're doing is breaking down our bodies so that they can be rebuilt stronger. This rebuilding phase only happens if we take into account the proper recovery. Recovery is composed of really two things, and that is rest and taking in the proper nutrients. With a proper recovery regime, you begin to move out of just moving along a horizontal plane where you're doing lots of activity to moving up a vertical plane where you're actually getting stronger. So proper nutrients, proper rest are the elements that we discussed. I won't touch too much on the rest side of things, but I definitely recommend as a competitive athlete that stretching, rolling out, our complex products, which I'll talk about in a future video. These are all things that are key to that part, as well as just taking it easy. From the nutrient side, there's essentially two windows that we want to consider here. There is what you do within the first 2 hours and what you do within the first 30 minutes after activity. Now, I'm the first to recommend whole foods when you can get them. So after you finish a training session or a race of some sort, you really want to try to get in a good quality meal with complex carbs, protein, fats, all the good stuff within that first 2 hours. Within the first 30 minutes, your body is the most susceptible to repairing itself. It's a very high period of glycogen synthesis, meaning that your body really wants to convert carbohydrates that you're taking in, so glucose, into glycogen, which is your stored muscle energy. It's also craving protein to repair damaged cells, and elements such as glutamine to help rebuild your immune system. Especially as an endurance athlete, we wear down our immune systems quite often. In Recoverite, there is a 3-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio with 3 grams of high quality glutamine added. The protein that we use is a whey isolate. It's virtually lactose and fat free. The carbohydrate is maltodextrin, which is also in our Heed and Perpetuum. And just to top things off, there's also full spectrum electrolyte. So these are essentially all the elements that we need for recovery and are perfect for that 30-minute window when our body is most susceptible to repairing itself or to taking in these nutrients, okay? I'd recommend to your customers that they have a bottle of Recoverite mixed, ready to go in the car or wherever they finish their workout. For most people, 2 scoops will be perfectly sufficient, and that lists as 1 serving on the back, which equals 170 calories. It has 10 grams of protein in that amount. I know you're probably going to ask that question. So have it ready in a bottle, ready to go. And the reason why I say have it ready is quite often after any workout we do, especially in groups, we're either talking, socializing, stretching, having to drive somewhere, and more often than not, we'll likely have missed that 30-minute window. So think ahead, be proactive, have this ready to go in the car. Now, why not just have a meal ready to go? My answer to that is a meal is great within that 2 hours like we talked about, but the Recoverite is scientifically formulated, so taking out all the guesswork. It's in liquid form, meaning that it's easier to digest, and it's just a more efficient recovery drink than taking in a meal. Alright, so let's talk flavors and jug sizes. There is the 32 size jug, which is this guy here. This is the one I use most often. It's actually empty right now. There's a 16 serving jug and a single serving packet. Single serving packet's great to have at the store level as a way to sample flavors to your customers and encourage them to move up to one of the jug sizes, which ultimately is going to be more economical and better serving for your customers. So 32, 16 single serve. As far as flavors, there is strawberry, there's orange vanilla, and chocolate. Okay, so the top 3 questions you're probably going to get asked by your customers. First is, does it work? Yes, very much so. This is one of our most popular products, if not the most popular right now. Recoverite will go great lengths to reducing that next day soreness that you feel in your muscles. And you know, if I'm being honest, if I think about competitors that are out there in the sports nutrition dedicated market, there's really no one out there off the top of my head that has a recovery drink that compares to what we have, let alone a recovery drink at all. They really just focus on the fueling end of it. This leads into the second question is, how does this compare to chocolate milk? So moving out of the dedicated sports nutrition market, chocolate milk, they really pitch themselves as a recovery drink. They're a behemoth in the marketing world, and quite often you'll see them at a lot of triathlons and these sorts of events. So pitching themselves as the recovery drink. The main difference between chocolate milk and Recoverite, from my experience anyways, is taste aside. Chocolate milk has a lot more sugar, or more sugar, fat, and also lactose, so milk, right? So these are all things that are kind of counterintuitive to an endurance athlete in my perspective, especially when you're coming off an intense effort and your stomach's, you know, going a million miles a second and really having a hard time digesting things. I don't know if you're anything like me, but when you take in milk during a workout, it doesn't do pleasant things. So, you know, to each his own. Chocolate milk might work, but Recoverite is going to be the healthier overall option. Okay, so question number 3, it's a really good one, is why not just have a protein drink at the end of a workout? The good thing about recovery is that most people, especially athletes, are familiar with protein drinks. So a dedicated protein powder, you know, 1 scoop has maybe 30 grams of protein. They put that in a shake and they're good to go. So why not just take that? Why take the Recoverite? And the answer is kind of similar to my answer on why not just take salt pills, why take Endurolites. Well, yes, you do need sodium, but your body craves other minerals that play other roles in the body, which we talked about in the previous video. Same thing kind of with the Recoverite, is it's touching on the protein that you need, which is definitely not 30 grams and above right after exercise. So touching on the protein you need, but also on a host of other elements that you probably wouldn't get in your average shake of just protein and say milk and fruit and that sort of thing. So Recoverite is, again, comparing it to a meal, is just more efficient. It's scientifically formulated for right after, whereas a protein drink or a protein powder is really kind of geared more towards resistance activities. So when you're really breaking down your muscle and needing more of a dedicated protein source. Okay, well that's it for another video. I've probably talked your ear off. I'm a really big advocate for Recoverite. I think you're really doing your customers a disservice if you're not talking to them and promoting, if anything, just recovery, okay? Too many athletes really do not focus on that end of their workouts. And as we talked about earlier in the video, it's a difference between moving along a horizontal plane where you're just racking up Strava hours to actually becoming a stronger rider and getting those KON points. So until the next video, I'm not sure when it's going to be. Definitely recommend getting a couple sample sizes at your store, trying them out yourself, because ultimately you have to be the advocate for it. And please send me your questions. I'm going to be away from around June 10th till about July 2nd, but nevertheless, post those questions and we'll get someone on our team to answer them for you. Alright guys, thanks.